How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. Not just any other review, though. Mystery beers. Mystery beers mean I have no idea what I'm about to drink. This beer was carefully wrapped up on the bottle, the top itself, and sent to me, and I have no idea what it is. I'm going to drink it, I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to unveil it. That's kind of what I do, especially on Mondays. These are usually posted, so let's dive into it. Layer-wise, wrapping-wise, it's all right. It's cool. It's a little bit more of kind of your generic kind of sparkle level paper towel, but it's got that really nice high-end blue painter's tape, so I am enamored. So yeah, this one comes courtesy of Sean down Virginia Way. He sent me a bunch of mystery beers, along with some non-mystery beers, so I'm kind of excited to give this a whirl. From a distance, I'm guessing a couple things. One, it's got a lot of residual sugar, and two, it might be aged. Why do I say that? As this glass tilts all crazy like? Because, why is that not sitting correctly? Anyway, if you actually look right here, there's like a little bit of kind of residual sugar kind of cakiness on the edge of it, which indicates either it was just, you know, filled pretty crazily, or it has a little bit of age on it. It's been sitting around for a little bit. But anyway, yeah, it looks like a big, huge stout. It doesn't look like a tiny beer. It looks like she has some oomph to her. Head's dissipated pretty quickly, but she was kind of like malted Malpal color head before she died out. But yeah, looks the part of a stout, doesn't she? Let's get a nose. Holy shit. Well, here's the problem. And this is the problem I see, is that these mystery beers, 99% of the time I decide to do them when I first start to do them. Why is that a problem? Because typically when I do beer reviews, I'm going to do like 2 to 4 beers every time I sit down. That's why I end up putting out 7 videos a week. You know, I usually have beers about 3 days out of the week. We do average 3 a week. You do 9 a week, and that's enough for the whole week. So I tend to do the mystery beers early. I tend to do them first because I don't want my palate to be compromised. Problem with that is, this is going to compromise the shit out of my palate, so I don't know if I can do any beer reviews because this is gigantic. Just big, rich, huge syrupy tones, like molasses on top of maple syrup. Not necessarily maple syrup. It's like sugary, sweetened molasses, not necessarily blackstrap. There's got to be a barrel in here too. There's a little bit of tart funkiness in there. It leads me to believe that maybe it's like maybe like a port barrel or something like that. But anyway, I think it's a barrel-aged stout. Yeah, rich, hefty, plus 10% based off the nose. Barrel-aged stout. It smells like there's something else going on in there. Like I said, there's a tartness to it. So is it rested on some kind of fruit? On the nose, I couldn't really tell you all that much. Does it have an additional adjuncty sweetness? It could be an imperial milk stout. But that just could be the overall bigness and sweetness of the beer along with the barrel kind of confusing me. So let's keep this simple, stupid. Big, huge stout base, barreling in a spirit, but I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of verged off in some kind of high ABV, kind of port winey kind of territory. Gonna dive in. Cheers. Yeah, this has to have age on it. This has to have age. That's where I think that slightly tart apple component is coming from, because now I'm sticking straight up bourbon barrel aged stout. I'm not getting a ton of that overt sweetness. It's sweet, but I'm not getting a ton of that overt sweetness in the taste. But it's sweet, but it has this kind of, again, this little bit of like almost like sour milk tart apple kind of component to me, and I feel like that is a kind of maybe a slight flaw in the base part of the beer that's kind of climbed up and reared its head a little bit with time. Not necessarily, it's not a bad beer, it's not a sour beer, but yeah, it's a bourbon barrel aged stout. Actually, if anything, it actually comes off more as like a Canadian whiskey stout. It could be like, so it verges more in like a Scotch, Irish, Canadian whiskey territory than bourbon. It's got a big, bold oomph to it. I yeah, I'm not really getting much else. So I'm just going to go with that. A whiskey, not bourbon, whiskey barrel-aged stout. Plus, 11 plus percent, 10 plus, 11 plus percent. Not much else going on with it. With age on it, like a couple years, like 2, 3, 4 years on it. Done and done. That's all I have. I can't nail it. It doesn't taste like an old Bourbon County stout to me. It doesn't taste like any of the bigger named kind of older stouts, but yeah. We'll see what's what with it. So I could be full on the age thing. It could be just the way the beer is processed, but that's the way she comes off to me. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, barrel-aged Aleworks Brewing Company, which I've had beer before. But yeah, most of the stuff, and I've had barrel-aged stuff from them actually before. So this is their Black Forest Imperial Chocolate Stout, aged on Montgomery. Really, I'm going to do that. It's Montmorency cherries. There you go. You can read it for yourself. Montmorency cherries and bourbon whiskey barrels. That's that tartness I was getting in there. Didn't really come off as like a big, bold kind of cherry to me. More of kind of slightly tart, soured fruit. So I get that. Kind of makes sense to me. What's the age on this? Is there a date on here? It's new. You know what I mean? It says here it's bottled on July 2018. So it's not that old. So I'm guessing this actually spent a decent amount of time in a barrel. 9.5%. So less than what I thought it would be. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun, interesting beer. Isn't one of the better... We'll get to that in a minute. But it was just a fun, interesting stout. It had a lot of interesting components, and this is some of the reasons why I like the mystery beers. Well, at the same time, I'll never stop doing them because I think they're fun as hell. Can be a little bit misleading, is that I tend to not focus on how much I enjoy the beer, try to pick it apart and try to dissect it and try to really kind of figure out what the hell's going on in it. But I think it was a super tasty beer. Fun, nice. The way that those cherries played is super cool. I can see that the tartness of the cherry. Big imperial stout with a little bit of cherry notes is not going to be, almost like a given when it comes to a lot of these big beers, especially the ones that kind of verge towards a Russian imperial stout kind of realm. Chocolate. So they added chocolate to it, unless they just didn't a bunch of chocolate malt. I could see that. I mean, there's big chocolate notes and it's a big imperial stout. But yeah, that's a fun beer. That's a tasty beer. I did good on that one. I like it. I'm okay with what I said on there. I'm okay not speaking to the cherries. I did the tart fruit thing. That's enough for me. Chocolate I didn't speak on. You can say there's chocolate on every stout. I'm not going to say it, especially a big, huge, hefty one. I'm okay with the ABV on it. I like where I landed on that one. Didn't nail it, but I think I did a pretty damn good job, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, let's talk about it. It's one of the better bourbon barrel-aged stouts I've had as of late. I'm going to say no, but not yes. It's like right on the fringe. I'm not on the out, not on the in. It's tasty. It's delicious. I like it. Let's put it this way. I want to try this with about a year or two on it. I feel like those kind of aged vibes where I got from that cherry and the way that kind of that whiskey played. They call it bourbon. It was more whiskey to me. I didn't really get a ton of barrel character, but I think all those things will kind of meld together and become something pretty damn fantastic. But super tasty stuff. I mean, let's put it this way. If I saw it on the shelf, I'd buy some more and definitely age it. And if I found it on draft, then it's about to get crazy outside. Value and availability, no idea. It's mystery beer. I've never had it before. If Sean wants to chime in, that would be pretty awesome. Anybody else down there, Virginia Way, if they know anything, that would be pretty cool. And leave you with, if you like, will you like this beer? If you like big, huge barrel-aged stouts, it's almost like I said, it didn't taste like a Bourbon County stout, but it's like, I don't want to call it methadone for Bourbon County stout, but it's getting kind of more similar in that range. It's almost more like a Belgian stout with the way the cherries kind of come off, or more of like an aged Russian Imperial stout, the way the cherries come off. So it's like a Black Albert light, if you will. But if you like big, huge bourbon barrel-aged stouts, you like those sour, tart, cherry components in your beers, this is definitely worth picking up. Pretty tasty stuff. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Mystery beer, mind you. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying nice little Aleworks barrel-aged mystery jam right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.